Let me go to John Solomon. I know your site is leading with the Chinese spy. Can you give us an update on that, John, before we get into the rest of the news of the day?
Yeah, listen, 5 years, almost 6 years after the U.S. intelligence community first discovered that China had gained access to Americans' voter registration data, we're finally finding out. The Congress had no idea. The president had no idea. The American public had no idea. And that's kind of remarkable because 2 years ago in Great Britain, when Great Britain revealed that its voter registration data had been accessed by China, hacked by China, there was national recrimination. There was a national crisis, major changes to security. There were people who were fired. There were hearings and blue ribbon panels. Great Britain took such a breach of the election system very seriously. But in America, the CIA, FBI, the DHS, in the end of the Trump and the beginning of the Biden era, just deep-sixed it, didn't let anybody know. So we head into the 2026
Not
election.
even the president.
Yeah, does not. There's not evidence that the president. But the reason I say that is because we have now a report from the ombudsman for the United States intelligence community. And that ombudsman wrote that his name is Barry Zoloff. And he wrote that this evidence was kept from the president himself, specifically because U.S. intelligence analysts inside the CIA, inside the FBI, inside the Homeland Security Department didn't like Donald Trump. They called him the vulgarian in the Oval Office. That's actually what they wrote about their commander-in-chief in their own emails. And that they chose not to brief on this because they didn't want Donald Trump's policies on China to succeed. So you have an intelligence committee caught red-handed, putting their political interest ahead of their country's interest.
John, when is any of this going to make any difference?
That's a great question, right? We're a week into these revelations. The White House hasn't driven a narrative from the podium. You don't see Carolyn Levin talking about it on the podium, even though the evidence is absolutely dispositive. We put the declassified evidence into the, the president has put it up on Truth. He's raised some concerns about it. The president's intelligence advisory board, chaired by Devin Nunes, they announced today that they're going to be investigating this. Senator Ron Johnson is seeking the documents from the Senate Public Permanent Subcommittee on Investigations. But the administration, which has everything to gain in helping the American people understand this, fix it. For instance, where we got a debate going on in the Senate right now over the SAVE Act, the Save America Act. No, none of the senators know if their state was hacked by China. That's something that the Trump administration bureaucracy could do today. They could set up briefings for the senators and give them that information.
Why won't they?
I don't know. I don't know. Apparently, they can only handle one thing at a time. Democrats can handle 5 things at a time, right? But we seem preoccupied.
This
with
administration has proven that they can handle 100 things at a time. I don't buy into that.
Yeah, well, if they choose to. But here's a situation. They knew it was coming. The White House knew this was coming. The CIA knew it was coming. The DNI knew it was coming. They released the documents. But they've yet to contact the senators and tell them what states are there. And so I continue to ask those questions.
Who wins?
We've got more coming.
Who wins if we don't pay attention to this? I'm trying to figure out motive on why you wouldn't say anything. What is
China
to
wins,
gain?
Right? China wins.
You're right.
If their capabilities are still preserved because there hasn't been the sort of alert that Great Britain did. And then one could argue the Democratic Party does. And I say that only because of the documents that Kash Patel released last June that we broke here at Just the News in June of last year, that China sent tens of thousands of fake driver's licenses into Chicago O'Hare Report to be distributed around the country. And the goal of that, according to the FBI's own counterintelligence sources inside China, was for China to register people, to fake people, to vote for Joe Biden, help Joe Biden beat President Trump in the 2020 election. Now, we intercepted those, but it's pretty clear that China either has a preference with the Democratic Party or some sort of alliance with the Democratic Party based on what the FBI wrote.